All right, welcome back. You're watching The Insight here on TV 47. And in the past few days, we've witnessed a dramatic escalation of the tensions. President William Ruto has intensified his anti-corruption campaign, even establishing a new multi-agency team to spearhead the fight against corruption that has since been suspended by the courts. Yet this move came against the backdrop of open rebellion from Parliament, where MPs protested what they described as sustained attacks from the head of state. The president remarks calling Parliament a home of extortion have provoked sharp reactions. Lawmakers have demanded evidence, threatened to invoke Article 125 to summon the president, and even hinted at impeachment proceedings against their own speakers should they fail to act. This, without doubt, one of the most bruising confrontations since the 2010 Constitution came into force. Tonight, our panel, we want to delve deeper with them on this particular issue to unpack this development, and we'll explore the question: is this a healthy sign of checks and balances or the beginning of a constitutional crisis? Can the fight against corruption succeed amid such political hostility? And most importantly, what does this mean for the Kenyan people and the future of our democracy? As mentioned earlier, we're holding court with Samson Cherargei, the Senator of Nandi. Also, we have with us Senator Godfrey Osotsi, Senator of Vihiga, and the Senator of Kisii. This is Richard Onyonka. Gentlemen, I had to welcome once again. Let me just go straight to you, Osotsi, and of course, hearing this, I don't know if you're part of that joint parliamentary group meeting where the president made this particular pronouncement. What was your reaction?
Well, first of all, let me start by greeting all the Kenyans, wherever they are.
And by the way, I had to welcome to TV 47. I think this is your maiden debut.
Actually,
so we should have some hoopla, razzmatazz, and the confetti is flying around. Thank you for joining us.
Dibal, this is not the first time.
It's not the first time?
No,
Good. I thought it's the first time.
I have been here a number of times.
Fantastic.
Not with him.
Not on the inside.
Yeah, I have been here ever since you started. But I'm glad that today we are here with my two colleagues from the Senate to discuss these issues among the others. I want to confirm that I attended the joint PG. And I attended in my capacity, not just as a member of the Senate, but also as a deputy party leader of Orange Democratic Movement. Because to me, the main agenda of that meeting was supposed to be the unveiling of the inception report on the 10-point agenda. And you know that I've been one of the key people within the Orange Party who have been pushing for implementation of the 10-point agenda.
Yes. Because
I believe that the 10-point agenda, if implemented, then it will be the second major thing to happen to this country after the new constitution, the 2010 constitution. So I attended because I was very keen to see or to understand how the implementation process would be done. But it's unfortunate that the main agenda was drifted from that issue of 10-point agenda to the issue of the conduct of Parliament. And I want to say that it is really unfortunate that Parliament had to be discussed in that manner. It had to be discussed because, as you know, Dibal, Parliament has its own internal legal mechanism of dealing with ethical issues. First of all, we have committees of powers and privilege. We have it in the National Assembly, and we also have it in the Senate. And these two committees are the only committees whose chairperson are the speakers of the two houses. The Speaker, Amason Kingi, is the chair of Powers and Privilege Committee in the Senate. Speaker Moses Wetangula is the chair of Powers and Privileges Committee in the National Assembly. All matters of ethical conduct among the members of Parliament are supposed to be directed to that committee, either internally within Parliament or even externally. And you have seen in the past issues of that nature have been addressed before the Powers and Privilege Committee. When I served in the National Assembly, we had an accusation that was made by the member for Kimilili, Dismas Baratha, that members of Parliament were receiving bribes in the toilet. And the then Speaker, Muturi, a man I respect a lot, because I thought he tried his very best to guide that house. He was subjected to the Powers and Privilege Committee. Investigation was done, and it came out that it was just the usual talk that politicians make. There was no substance. And he was punished for that. So I think it would be proper if our leadership in this country felt that there was a problem, an ethical problem in Parliament. The best place to address it was to go through the mechanisms that are established in law within the standing orders and within the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, because there is a legislation on that, so that we get to the bottom of the matter, rather than subjecting members of Parliament to ridicule, to branding members of Parliament as extortionists. I think the two houses, the House of Senate and the National Assembly, deserve an apology from our president, because I find that to be a bit reckless coming from the head of state, because there are better ways of doing it. And people will ask themselves questions that where has been the head of state? If all this was happening, what action has he taken? And why does he not name the people who are responsible?
Yeah, but you mentioned that...
He mentioned that 10 million was given to pass the anti-money laundering bill. But you know that anti-money laundering bill was a government bill. It was a government bill. So if it was a government bill, whoever was bribing members of Parliament most likely would be someone from government. We also want to know who is that person in government, or which government ministry or agency was involved in bribing. So it is both ways. You are blaming members of Parliament, but who was giving the money? Can we know the agency that was involved in giving money?
Right, but do you...
So what we want is, we are not saying that a few of us could be having challenges of ethical conduct, but we are saying let it be done procedurally. This blanket condemnation of members of Parliament and the Senate to be involved in ethical conduct, I think it is a matter that must be taken seriously. But on the other hand, I look at the positive side of it. The positive side of it is that we have been complaining quite a lot. I have been appearing on TV and in public meetings saying that Parliament has been hijacked by the executive. Because sometimes you see what happens in Parliament and you wonder, is it Parliament or is it something else? This is now an opportunity for parliamentarians to assert themselves and be delinked from the executive in terms of carrying out their mandate, so that we begin to act for the interests of the people of Kenya and do the right thing. So this kind of situation, to me, I'm looking at it positively, and I would like the head of state to continue annoying the members even more, so that they realize that they are on their own. The other thing is that the executive also has a share of blame, because if you look at Parliament, the process of deciding who becomes a chair of a particular committee in Parliament nowadays is not decided by members themselves. People are called to State House and a list of leaders of various committees is read out. So and so will be the chair, so and so will be the vice chair. And that's why my good friend, very competent Senator for Nandi, he's not a chair of anything because they thought he's too independent to be a chair of anything. So if we go back to the old ways of doing things so that you allow the members themselves, if we have members of our technical committee, to decide who their chair or vice chair would be, that would be the beginning of independence of Parliament.
So secondly, why are you yourself called to status? Because you're the chair of the County Public Investment and Special Fund.
Fortunately, when we started, we in the ODM, we were not part of the government side.
So
so we went through an election. Me and Moses Kajwang, we were elected by our respective committees to be the chairs of the committees. But for the other standing committees in the Senate and the National Assembly,
the decision was made in State House.
Was made in State House.
Thank you. Let me come to...
And before I finish, also, we must look at the behavior of our speakers. We cannot have a speaker of a House of Parliament, like the Senate or a National Assembly, donning political party colors over the weekend and say 2-term or 1-term, and even talking party politics, and the same person is supposed to sit on the holy chair of the speaker
as a neutral arbiter.
As a neutral person, as an impartial person. That is where the problem is. So that's why I'm saying this is an opportunity to redeem Parliament and take to Parliament to where it belongs.
Thank you. All right, let me come to Honorable Richard Onyonka. You are a no-show in that particular PG.
What was I going to do there? It was as predictable as it turned out to be.
I thought you were standing in solidarity with ODM, you as a member of ODM.
ODM is my party.
The vice chair is here, should ask you why were you not in attendance?
ODM is my party that left me. ODM is my party that I thought stood for what all of us believed in. The very tenets of good governance, the belief of fairness, the issues of equity. And what basically has happened is that my party leader, a man I incredibly respect, turns around and tells me that I have no role to play in the Senate. And I'm sitting watching at him. And I've been fighting, talking about how oversight and for us to put leadership into accountability, for us to stand up and start fighting for those things that matter to Kenyans. And the best he can tell me is that I have no business whatsoever asking the governor why he's stealing billions of shillings from one single transaction. That I don't have a capacity. In other words, I am actually in that house basically collecting payroll from Kenyan taxes. It is incredible. Number two, I completely sympathize with my brother Ososi. There are certain things he can't say. Ososi, my brother, we are in a mess. The house where we sit is a complete mess. But that house is not the way it is because legislators planned and coordinated that they're going to make that house into a mess. It is this top leadership. Mzee Raila, I said I respect him. Honorable William Ruto. These are children of this system. How did we start breaking out our system? How do we lose money through a government system which nobody procured? And now I'm being told we lost, what, 59 billion? How do I sit around and watch when today I've received information how the money that SHA is supposed to pay, their health facilities don't exist? Pictures are there, but the money has been cashed out. These are the issues that we need to discuss, but we can't. So what you do, this is how I interpret it, You take this group of people and demonize them. First, say they're the most corrupt. Dibal, didn't I start talking about corruption at the National Assembly somewhere 3 years ago? We were saying, look, we are going in the wrong direction. The Constitution was not structured in such a manner that the legislators need to be with the executive. You are the people who are actually oversighting the presidency. And then you go and sit with the president and he's talking to you guys, you go there, money is exchanging hands, guys are eating chapati, receive 200,000. Every single thing that happens in State House when those people leave, we get it. When people are sitting to pass a bad law, the anti-money laundering bill, when this issue came up, this is not the dispute, brother. This dispute is purely because the MPs did not deliver what was expected. So they passed a bill which the World Bank, which is waiting for this anti-money laundering bill to be effected. They said, what is this you've done? So actually, those MPs who ate the money, they shafted the president. That's why he's upset. That's why he's upset. Why is the president upset? He's faced the reality that we have a country now which is basically like a gambling den. Whoever that is the highest bidder will have his things sorted out. Those who are not the highest bidders, nothing is done. This is how we employ public service people. This is how we employ our teachers. This is how governors have cascaded it to the county governments. This is how we employ nurses and doctors who come to those facilities and we treat them like criminals. But so my reality, Dibal, is very simple. You are not going to fight corruption. And this is the only bit I agree with my colleagues. In fact, why are my colleagues upset? It's because the president says the truth. Why are they upset? How many times have we received information that members of my colleagues will send somebody to go to a place where they think they are going to extort money from that individual so that they can come and they are put in those committees? So I mean, these are things that as Kenyans, we must begin to ask, is that the country you want or not?
So the president states that he is a consumer of raw intelligence. And this is what is really coming to bear.
Why did he give that intelligence to ESCC and DCI?
But I think this was the proper forum because now you're coming with a 10-point agenda. And one of the key agendas there is number 8, fight against corruption. Kenya needs to move from talk to action. So the president is actually just putting his feet on the ground.
Can I respond to you?
And the people who are incriminated should be the people now where we should start fighting corruption from, like the fish. Head.
Can I respond?
Going to the body.
Can I respond? To me, the president was dealing with the issue using the wrong mechanisms because for him, it's too political to understand the implication and consequences of his actions. Politics is everything. And yet, for us to fight corruption in Kenya, we don't have to politicize it. We don't have to.
Okay, hang on. Let me come to Honorable Cherargei and ask you that particular question because also I watched the committee yesterday, and together, of course, with the chair, Moses Kajwang, really fulminating with anger on what the president has done. And we can hear from Richard Onyonka here that, of course, what the president did was absolutely right because corruption is rife within the bicameral house, both the National Assembly and the Senate as well. So you can't say that you're squeaky clean. There are elements. Maybe the way you use a broad brushstroke on everyone is unfair. But there are elements, of course, within the Senate which is corrupt. So my question to you, because I heard you saying, what he has started, the pendulum will also swing both ways. Yeah, it can come to the Senate or the National Assembly, and it can go back and hit the president as well. What did you mean?
Thank you, Dibal. I want to correct a few issues that the deputy party leader of ODM has said. One, I will just give my experience because I've been sitting in the Senate for some time. I have served as the chairperson of Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights in the last session. As the chair, I never received or my members received any inducement to pass any policy or legislative. in this session, I was elected as the Vice Chair of Senate Public Accounts Committee, which I served from 2 to 3 years, until ODM removed me. So it is not right to say...
It is ODM who removed you.
Yeah, they are one, because they are the majority. In fact, they don't have democracy.
Also, ODM removed me. I'm in ODM.
Yes, you can imagine. So you cannot, I was the Vice Chair and I was doing very well until ODM decided to remove me. So I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know whether the word D in ODM is democracy or dictatorship. But that is a story for another day. What I wanted to say is that corruption is everywhere. Parliament is not a conclave. Judiciary, executive, and parliament, there is corruption. But if you want to kill a system, you give what you call blanket condemnation. And that is why some of us differ with what our 2 senior leaders said during the parliamentary group meeting. Because I agree with my colleagues, if you know somebody who is corrupt, the best way is to refer them to the accountability agencies, the DCI and EACC, because we don't want also to destroy people's careers. Outside politics, some of us have careers, which we protect. And I had an MP yesterday on the floor of the House, I think the MP for Kieni, saying that whenever nowadays he arrives home, the wife goes through the pockets, because he's asking him, where is the money that you are told you are stealing in Parliament? So you can imagine that the impact of that statement has caused among, and all of us are leaders. My opinion is very simple. Parliament is open for scrutiny. Even if you had the Speaker today of the Senate, and he said, we are willing, he's the chair of PIC, we were together in Public Accounts Committee, and we are not saying Parliament is a holier than thou. We are saying there could be elements within Parliament, but under Powers and Privileges Act Cap 6 laws of Kenya, there is how we deal with ethical, and that is why Senator Utsosi has put it very well, that the chairpersons of both, or is the speakers of both houses, and 6 members which are members of the Committee on Powers and Privileges. I know because, and you know, Powers and Privileges, when you look at Section 18, this committee, and that is why I was challenging, by the way, you didn't, you should get my statement, the context I said. I say the speakers now have an obligation to pursue this matter further, because we thank the President and Raila Odinga for bringing this matter. But now that it has been said, we request that the speakers of both houses, because they chair Powers and Privileges, to invoke Section 18 and invite this information before the House, so that if either me or any of my colleagues are found to have violated ethics, including Leadership and Integrity Act, or are participating in bribery or corruption, they should be subjected to Powers and Privileges Act, which is very clear. Because Article 123 of the Constitution provides for the constitution of committees. Article 125 of the Constitution, any person can be compelled to appear before Parliament to give any information. That is why I was throwing the challenge to the speakers. Now that this matter is open, the jury is out, why don't you get this information? Let's know if it is Senator Cherargei, if it is Onyonga, if it is Otsotsi, my neighbor. By the way, coincidentally, we are neighbors. I don't know, were you aware of that? You decided to invite neighbors and their neighbors, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is...
in the sitting arrangement in the Senate?
No, we are neighbors in Vihiga and Nandi.
Oh, yeah, okay, I get it.
You should have attended your geography classes.
No, I thought you were talking about the Senate.
No, Vihiga and Nandi are neighbors.
Yes.
So what I'm saying, of course on a lighter touch, what I'm saying is very simple. The President, and we thank him, I agree with Senator Onyonga, this matter has been brought to public. Now when we are finished with Parliament, we want to be told what is happening in executive.
Thank you.
We want to be told what is happening in judiciary, in the private sector.
Yes.
And then we don't want blanket condemnation. We must punish the receiver and the giver. Who gave this 150 million? We want to know. Because personally, as the Senate, I didn't see.
The President knows.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what he said.
We want to know who gave out, who received. Then the prosecutions can happen. We will go to judiciary. Let us go to executive. Let these people, so that corruption cannot be fought in this country by doing it in a sectional way, by fighting it sectionally. We need corruption to be fought as multifaceted approach in all sectors, from the private sector, judiciary, executive, national executive, and county governments. Governors are stealing with abundance. And you know the reason I had the SG, and we were together in that committee, saying that the former Prime Minister was being misled. He knows that the ODM Central Committee, there are almost 4 governors.
Yes.
And I think those are the governors who has been putting ideas to former Prime Minister. And I was shocked. Because when you say Senate does not have a role in the oversight of the governors, then that is the worst. And you know, if you saw me in Homa Bay, I was laughing because I thought it was a joke. Because this matter has been litigated to Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court ruled that the primary oversight is done by the county assembly, the secondary oversight is done by the... Even in the Oparanya case, you remember Oparanya, the former governor, the current CS, refused to appear before the Senate.
Yes.
He went to court. The courts ruled that you must appear before the Senate. Article 96 of the Constitution provide for the oversight to be done by the Senate. We do division of revenue. We have a duty, an obligation to do oversight. In fact, my advice to people who feel Senate should not oversight counties, I am interpreting these things in 2 formats. One, if you want to kill a dog, give it a bad name. And that somebody wants to kill devolution. Because when you don't have Senate, devolution dies. Number 2, if they want MCS to do the oversight, amend the Constitution, abolish Senate.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense for us to get salaries and allowances.
Exactly.
Yet we can't do our job. We must be taught. And I think I agree with the ODM SG when he said that the former Prime Minister might have been misled. Even on the issue of the fight against corruption, the President has an obligation. And I know when he comes back to tell us who are these people who took 10 million. To pass anti-money laundering bill. We really want to know.
Yes.
Because we are in Parliament, Debal. We interact with our colleagues.
So will you invoke that Article 125?
You know the problem with us here?
To summon the President to tell this...
The problem now with us, there are 2 problems on this one. One, we don't chair Powers and Privileges Committee.
So
2, we are not members.
Yes.
3, myself, the 3 of us do not sit in Senate Business Committee. It's only him who is in leadership.
Yes.
Me and my brother Onyonga, we are the backbenchers. So we will, in our small Kamugunji, we will request the speakers who chairs to invoke Section 18. We say you can invite evidence. Because we really, you know, as we go to elections, when I want to go back to Nandi, I don't want my people to look at me suspiciously. When he goes back to Kisioro, let us be, if it is Cherargei, then Cherargei should be handled so that I don't have to destroy the reputation of Senator Onyonga or Senator Usos or members of Parliament. So I hope this thing can be put to rest, and that is why Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act should be put into action to ensure that we are saying, and I want to tell you, the statement that was made by former Premier, the governors went into celebration. They have been painting town red.
Yes.
They are painting this town red.
They can't believe it.
You remember 2 governors, my governor sang, decided to become sick and didn't appear on Monday. The governor of Embu, the governor of Embu today was supposed to appear, also became sick.
Cecily Marine.
Cecily Marine.
Yeah.
Coincidentally,
what are they coming to do?
What are they coming? They have been told don't appear before the Senate. And I can tell you the money that is being lost in this country. The palatial homes, I know of almost 15 governors who are building palatial homes in Rwanda and Karen.
Thank you.
I know some of them who have put floods in Isili, up to Malindi, and we know them. We have met, you know, Debala, I've sat in Public Accounts Committee in the Senate for the last 7 years.
But if you know them...
we have made recommendations. Let me finish. Let me qualify my statement.
I
invite you to go to the answer of the Senate.
Yes.
Senator Otsosi, who is the chair of PIC, we have adopted reports recommending
for people
prosecution
to be prosecuted.
And... You should know that the Senate and Parliament do not prosecute, do not jail. We only recommend. So the question should be, what is the SEC doing for the report?
Why are they not arresting people?
And we have made those recommendations in our report.
Go and look at the reports.
I'm inviting in Kenya, go to the answer.
Yes.
Look for those reports. Senator also the chair speak. He normally recommends prosecution. He normally recommends investigation by DCI and ESCC. This war, we must take it.
Let me just wait. You see, Debal, this is what baffles all of us.
Correct.
In the Senate. If you saw the reports, this man, the recommendations he has made, people who have stolen money for water, people who have stolen money from parastatols, the recommendations are mad. It's 3 years down the line, not a single person. And if somebody is taken to court, that is because of political persecution, not that he stole the money.
Correct.
So when you are coming and telling us that the legislator, I mean, Dibal, how many times have I sat here talking about what the problems of our country has with the corruption?
Can I finish?
Yes.
Because he mentioned something on NATCO, I think Senator Otsosi might have come late because the chairperson of Secretariat Working Committee, Senator Agnes Ani, did present the issue of NATCO report. And I think although we didn't make a resolution, but it was presented how to work because we wanted to move from the implementation of NATCO to and that is one of the issues you have raised, number 8, is on the issue of corruption. But this thing turned into Parliament, what we didn't expect. But this thing must be handled, and I'm challenging my members of Parliament.
Yes.
We need to take this war to where it should be.
So,
it is as simple as that.
Okay, let me come to Senator Otsosi on this, because looking at all of you, all of you have aspirations to be governors.
Can I answer you?
No.
If you are a politician and you don't have ambition, you don't stay in politics.
Yeah, because everyone is eyeing for these seats.
No, we are eyeing for better seats. Why are you imagining only governors? We could be eyeing for presidency. Why are you letting us down?
So you want to tell me, in all honesty, that you will not be running for the
this guy is a
governorship of
heartbeat
Nandi?
from being a presidential candidate of ODM. Because he's a deputy party leader, he could go for presidency.
Can I answer you?
Let me hear from Otsosi, then I come to you. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, maybe before I answer that question.
No, but let me just finish my line of question, because all of you are also gagging to be governors in the next general election. Why wouldn't these current governors look at you with weary eyes that you're witch hunting? You're trying to look at for every nook and cranny so that we can create a case, and they actually shed into bad light to give us a handy opportunity for you get a upper hand so that you may be the governors in the next election. Well, Otsosi, are you planning to run for governorship?
No, he did.
Well,
No. Let him have an answer for himself. You plan for governorship?
Ibal, you know very well. I think you come from my county.
He comes from
Vihiga. I have declared my interest to vie for the seat of Governor of Vihiga County in 2027. And that is not driven by malice, because anyway, my governor is not running again. So it's not about him. It is about my interest to serve the people of Vihiga County. And I want to tell you one thing, that being a senator is a great thing, because
it's an amazing job.
I keep on telling my people in Vihiga that if we want to have the best school to teach matters of devolution,
is the Senate.
Is the Senate, because we interact with all these issues of devolution almost on a daily basis, be it the laws, regulations, plans, even benchmarking, which country does this better than this. So we are a best placed people to help our counties out of the mess they are in. And I'm glad that some of the best performing governors were formerly senators. If you look at Senator Irungu Kangata, who did a wonderful presentation in Homa Bay the other day on matters of revenue collection. You look at Senator Mutula Kilonzo. You look at Senator Professor Nyang'o. People who have done amazing job because they understand what devolution is. So for me, I have seen the challenges of my county. First of all, the first challenge is the low revenue base. And I want to appreciate my two colleagues, Senator Onyonga and Senator Cheregei, for standing firm to support small counties that get lower revenues in the new formula. Now Vihiga County is now going to get
800 million.
800 million more.
Yes. We
We have now hit 6 billion mark. And that could not have been done if you don't understand what devolution is. We have a challenge of locally generated revenue. We know where the leakage is. The other day, my colleagues here were discussing the report on revenue performance of markets in Vihiga County, and they were questioning why the entire Vihiga County is generating only 13 million shillings as a collection for all the market. So these are things that we interact with it every day. And therefore, senators, in my view, are better placed to perform the role of governors because they understand devolution better. Devolution is not as easy as people think.
It is.
It is a whole complex idea that must be understood. And that is why we have always pushed for more resources to counties so that counties can have enough resources to perform some of the constitutional roles they are supposed to perform. So that aside, let me comment on what Senator Cherargei was saying. One, I want to say that devolution has been under attack from all manner of ways. This is not the first time Senate is being attacked by governors. You remember during the last term, governors went to court to question the role of Senate in oversighting them. And the courts, it went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the court ruled and said that Senate has a role in oversighting county government and governors. And governors should appear before the Senate. What they had intended was that we should not invite governors to come and appear before us.
At all.
That the CECs should instead be appearing before us. That the governors should stay away. They should not be called to come and answer accountability questions in the Senate. The court agreed with the senators that the only thing they will allow county assembly to do is one, primary oversight, and two, to oversight over locally generated revenue, the so-called on-source revenue. That's what the county assembly is supposed to be doing. I know there is a bit of a thin line between what is supposed to be primary oversight and what is supposed to be secondary oversight. That is where we have a bit of confusion. But what the Senate has been doing is to try and empower county assemblies to perform their role of primary oversight.
Yes.
And that's why I want to acknowledge the contribution of this Senate, that we have been able to deal with one of the major issues in our county assembly, the issue of financial autonomy of our assemblies.
Yes.
Now they will be able to get their money directly in their fund instead of having to go through the executive, because that has been one of the challenges. So what we need to focus on is how do we empower our MCAs to perform the role of primary oversight better so that the Senate can focus on secondary oversight, because right now there is a mix, and I see it even in my own counties. People trying to ask me to do the work that MCAs are supposed to be doing. That distinction is what we need to deal with as a Senate. Now, the other thing is about the speakers of the two houses.
Yes.
And I want to agree that today, for the first time, I want to say that the Speaker of the Senate, Amason King, made a very bold statement today and clearly indicated that he has not received any complaint against any senator to have been involved in corruption. No single complaint has come to him. He stated and said, Senate will exist to oversight counties. And that has not changed unless they change the constitution. So all I want to encourage my good friend Amason Kingi is to move a notch higher.
To the next level.
The next level is to invoke Article 125 of the Constitution. And for the sake of the viewers, I want to read it out.
Please do.
It says, 1, either House of Parliament and any of its committees has the powers to summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing information. So Amason Kingi and Moses Wetangula, being the chairs of the Powers and Privilege Committee, they should invite the head of state to appear before them and give the information that he was giving to the public. So that way we will take it that it is one of the steps that the speakers are helping the two houses to redeem itself. And if you read further, Article 125(2), it says, for the purpose of Clause 1, a House of Parliament and any of its committees has the same powers of the High Court. So that if the President does not appear, then the contempt of court
clause comes in.
Then it goes ahead and says, to enforce the attendance has the same powers as High Court, which includes, 1, to enforce the attendance of witnesses and examine them on oath and affirmation or otherwise. B, to compel production of documents. C, to issue a commission or request to examine witnesses abroad. Now, I am challenging Amason Kingi as a senator that please, as the chair of Powers and Privileges Committee, if you want to redeem the image of Senate,
this is the moment.
Today you gave a very bold statement. Move ahead and invoke Article 125 of the Constitution. That is the only effective way of redeeming the image of Senate. And we will broadcast it live for Kenyans to know who are these corrupt senators, how much did they receive, and all that. I know the reference they made to the Senate was because of the Isiolo case. But let me tell you one thing. What we have agreed as a Senate is that we will follow the law. We will follow the law. We will not act on impulses.
On emotions.
We will not act on emotions. We will follow the law. There is no way the Senate would have gone ahead and listened to the evidence that it was given by the MCAs of Isiolo.
Which was collected
outside the assembly. You want to hold a plenary session in a bar. And then you bring to us and tell us that we should act on that. We can never act. The County Government Act specifies that impeachment is done in the gazetted chambers of the House.
Yes.
And the point of information, imagine Dibal, if, for example, like you've said, Osotsi becomes the governor of Vihiga. Then his members of the county assembly decide to go and sit in Kisumu at the beach. And they just sign an amendment of some document. And they say we have impeached him.
Yes.
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
And then, of course, the people of Isiolo said there was so much violence, and therefore, in the National Assembly, at the Senate, when those documents came and we were looking at the evidence, I did not see anywhere where there were people who have signed affidavits who are saying, we went, I am a sergeant at arms, I was attacked, I was going. So we must follow the law. We can't take a shortcut because this matter is good to me and is bad to him. We must maintain the consistency.
So the speaker okay, so just finish.
Just to finish, on the point of governors, I want to say Article 96 of the Constitution is very clear on the role of Senate in terms of protecting and oversighting counties. And if you read 96.3, says the Senate determines the allocation of national revenue among counties as provided in Article 217 and exercises oversight over national revenue allocated to county government. So I think it's not right for you to say that Senate has no role.
So the speaker's told you.
I want to say this, Dibal. Governors, I hope you are watching us. Any governor who fails to appear before the Senate, you will go through the consequences. And this week, my own committee, when governors heard the statements that came from
But why should they take you
they
seriously
decided
now? Why should they take you seriously now?
They decided not to
never
appear.
appeared before.
Listen, let me finish. They decided not to appear. We have now sent summons to them. The governor of Samburu, the governor of Elgeyo Marakwet, we have sent summons to them.
Even us.
And any other governor who fails to appear, we will send summons. Because the law is there for us to oversight them. You will not run away. You will not seek refuge in big leaders of this country when you have oversight issues to respond to.
Okay.
We will be there for you.
It's interesting that now we have the Speaker of the Senate saying that none in the Senate has been embroiled in corruption in one way or the other. We have also information really coming to hand before that money was exchanged, to steamroll the impeachment of the former deputy president. I mean, this is information in the public domain. How sincere is this information that all of you are squeaky clean? At least I heard from the National Assembly, the Speaker saying, I've actually talked to some of you. There are cases which have come to me of where we've had clammy fingers of corruption from new members. And I've summoned you, some of you have stopped this behavior. So he admits at least also.
That was
corruption.
in the National Assembly.
That's what I'm saying in the National. He has admitted. But now everyone is squeaky clean in the Senate.
Can I respond?
Please do.
Because I think I'm the best person to qualify. But before I respond, Dibal, there's a very important question you asked that all of us who wants to run for governor. There's a clarity I want to tell Kenyans. Some of us never even thought we would be where we are. I never thought I would be a senator. So anybody to think that the reason why I'm oversighting funds to the Kisii County government, from the Kisii County government to the Kisii County government is because I want to be governor, damn it. If I really wanted to do something that would really make me happy, I would then run for president. So being governor is not my priority. What do you want me to do when I have a county? When we took over leadership in the last 3 years, what was our payroll under Gerald Gay? 41%. Right now, that payroll has reached 68, 70%. Shouldn't I ask why that payroll has increased? Do you need to tell me that I don't have to question what you're doing because you think I want your job? I don't want your job. I just want you to do your job better. That is what this whole damn experience of democracy is all about. It's not about us wanting jobs of people. I have a responsibility. My job is to tell Kenyans what I think is wrong with my government. My job is not to tell Kenyans how the government has done wonders. I go deep into the surfaces to go and find out whether it is true the government is doing ABCD as they say. I interrogate the budgets, I look at the optics, I listen to intelligence. Every single report we interrogate at the Senate is not done by senators. This is done by Auditor General. Tell me, what am I supposed to do when the Auditor General says a governor paid 946 million shillings to a company, a legal firm, which did one case? What do you want me to rationalize about that? This is what we are saying. This is not an experiment in futility. Some of us have been putting our everything on the line to say we want a country where people are accountable, where people are responsible. We want leaders who are responsible. We don't want petty crooks and con dealers and people making money, selling anything they can sell, buy whatever they want, and you want to tell me I should be proud of that nation. That is not what my expectation is. I expect better. I expect the Kenyan public to say, yes, we agree. I am getting medical services. I think I'm getting clean water. My kids are going to school. That's not too much to ask. So what we are saying, I am one of the people who's been raising corruption issues everywhere in the Republic of Kenya. And I've never said I was holier than anybody else. What I've been saying is we are going the wrong direction. You can't run a country like a banana republic and you sit around and keep telling me how you think you're doing wonders. There's no capitation to school. You have a problem with our ministries. People are talking about employment jobs. You can't have a rationalized system on how we employ our children who come from disadvantaged families. Then you want to tell me to be so proud of my country. No, give me the template. We are intelligent enough to know that we can employ people fairly, equitably in this republic, not because of where they come from, but because of the content of their characters and their performance. Is that too much to ask?
Let me add.
Maybe before you come in, I just want to emphasize a point.
He's done. We'll come to you.
For emphasize what he has said.
Okay.
Briefly, Senator Onyonga said, we are not witch hunting. We oversight based on government
institutions that have done audits.
They have done audit. Like for us, we use the Auditor General's report. And if our Auditor General report comes and says there is a problem here, we have to question. For instance, on Monday, the governor, your neighboring county, Nyamira, appears before us, and he cannot account for 88 million on bursary. There are no documents. When the auditor conducted audit, there were no documents which were provided. Then on the day he's appearing in the Senate, he comes with the 20 boxes of documents as evidence. We have no time to look at 20 boxes. Why didn't he provide those documents when the auditor was auditing? It's because documents were manufactured. And then now the Senate says, we have no capacity to verify this document. We want to take it to the institution that has the capacity to do it. We say, EACC take over. How many of the recommendations has Senate made to EACC? The other day I saw Bishop Oginde talking about corruption. Ask him how many recommendations
have they done?
He has from the Senate requiring them to prosecute these county officials. In my own county, we have had like 10 cases before EACC. Up to now, nothing has been done. It's back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes they raid county offices, take away files, and go and stay for another 1 year, and then they will come again. Nothing happens. Mr. or Bishop Oginde, start with your own institution. What are you doing about those recommendations that Parliament has given you?
No, I'll come to you. Cherargei, we want it so that he doesn't lose his track of thought as well.
Okay.
No. What I wanted to say is that MCAs, I think we have belabored it, but I agree, and I want to thank the President for signing financial autonomy for MCAs. So I hope we'll now real oversight. Number two is that I agree. MCAs are being paid 80,000. We need to look at the welfare and welfare of the MCA's capacity and ability, because the CCM, the
120 and 50 there are.
No, 80 net, but
actually
86, 87. So, and the CCM you are paying up to around 400,000. The CCM that they oversight. So we need, and I am happy that we have had this discussion in the Senate to increase capacity and ability of MCAs, like even committee sittings, all those facilitation. Because even as when we do county visits in Nairobi, in Kiambu, there must be facilitation for effectiveness of the oversight. And number two is on the issue of, I agree, when you read the reading of Article 229, if no one can accuse Senate of witch hunt, because Article 229 establishes an office of the Auditor General. Article 2298 says within 3 months after receiving an audit report, Parliament, which is defined under Article 93 as Senate and National Assembly, or the County Assembly shall debate and consider the report and take appropriate action. So all the reports that we consider in Parliament are generated by an independent office called OAG, not by the Senate. So when somebody goes ahead and says Senate is witch-hunting governors, is just political statement. It's just a statement being made in bad faith. Because the reading of Article 229, it says, sub-Article 7, audit report shall be submitted to Parliament or relevant county assembly for consideration. That is where we come in, we consider. For example, in Nandi, when the governor did not appear in the financial year, which we were to consider 22-23, he did a car hire services of 42 million. It was flagged by the OAG. So we really needed to know why would he do car hire services and there are no drugs in Kapsabet County Referral, for example. Well, there was an issue of cess that is paid by tea, I know in Nyamira, and there is cess, and sugar cess.
Yes.
It was never accounted. The money was remitted by farmers, the cess, but there are no roads that were being made. The non-provision of documentation contravenes Section 63 of the Public Audit Act. We have made recommendations that those officers who obstructed
should be terminated.
Obstructed the OAG should be prosecuted by DCI because that's fraud. Number 3, for example, in Nandi, the payroll, the money that goes in every financial year in Nandi, 3.98 billion goes to wages. Out of that 3.9 billion, 534 employees in Nandi County do not have anything. They don't have personal files. They don't have personal numbers. They don't have appointment letters. But money is being paid every month.
To them, quote unquote.
The ESCC did razzmatazz and visited the county headquarters of Nandi, took away the computers 1 year down the line, where the governor had even hired people of close consequence. People, his blood relatives, were found in the payroll. It is open and shut case. ESCC have done nothing. The governor has appeared before the Senate. We have recommended ESCC to investigate, even on ECD issues, where there was loss of semen on the issue of labor base in Nandi County. We have recommended. I am daring Bishop Oginda. I saw him speaking, talking about Parliament. There are cases like Nandi where you have the issue of the governor has employed close relatives.
Yes.
It is in the payroll.
And
it is open and shut. You know, you
Senator,
just need to arrest and prosecute.
Senator,
there was a chief officer who was not working.
ESCC sits in our committee meetings when we are making those recommendations.
Correct.
They sit
in
there.
Public accounts and in PIC.
They sit.
They have their liaison officers from COB, from National Treasury, from ESCC. I'm using Nandi example. You go to Kisii, you go to Vihiga, you go to any county in this country. There are many, even, you remember the County Assembly of Nairobi?
Yes.
They tried to investigate the own source revenue of Nairobi City County. That report was killed.
You will never see
the MCS were threatened. The speaker was being held hostage because they were about to expose
how the money
serious leakages of on-source revenue within Nairobi. Because Nairobi City County has a revenue potential by CRA Commission of Revenue Allocation of 63 billion. But they are collecting 12 billion. So where are the billions going? When we, you know, you cannot go for the small. I remember the former DPP Nurdin Aji. He once said, we are not going for omenas and small. We are going for the wells and buta. The ESCC, I can dare them that in the next 2 weeks to appear before Parliament and tell us what they have done about corruption in national and county governments. Then from there, they say the principle of equity, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. The ESCC must and accountability mechanisms. So as we say Parliament is corrupt, the accountability ESCC, the executive, the judiciary must be held to accountable. That is how we'll fight corruption. But you cannot fight corruption by accusing one arm of government, even the private sector.
All right, but
we must look at everything as it should be.
In fact,
and that is why we are daring the speakers of the houses to apply Cap 6 on parliamentary powers and privileges, Section 18, invite this information, punish. I am telling the nation straight in the eye. If today there is evidence that links Cherargei to any issue of corruption, I am willing and ready to take my own cross. Not my colleagues to take my cross.
Okay, but what is Senate doing as well? Because when we talk about the payroll scam,
yes,
this is not the first time that we've heard about a payroll scam.
But,
Auditor General has raised it.
I know where you are headed.
Yeah.
Can I assist you? I know where you are headed.
Yes, please.
So what are we doing about it?
Yes, what are you doing about it?
Recommendation for prosecution and investigation to ESCC.
And second,
we don't prosecute or investigate.
And secondly,
but for how long? We know.
But that is the Constitution. I mean, the Constitution give the Senate the power to investigate and prosecute, and will prosecute by
now. Secondly,
okay,
you as truly supported by these colleagues of mine, we have passed an amendment to the Powers and Privileges Act to say that people appearing before committees, the fine should be enhanced from 500,000 to 2 million shillings.
From their own pocket.
From their own pocket.
Not the county.
Because now what we've been having, governors appear before us and you fine them 500,000 and they ask you, can you give me pay bill? I want to pay now.
And they laugh about it.
Secondly, we want to have powers of arrest. Powers of arrest. So that if we have a witness who has clearly stolen and who is hostile, we should order for arrest there and there. In Uganda,
that's what they do in Uganda.
In Uganda, police sit in the Public Accounts Committee and Public Investment Committee. So that the committee clearly, if he sees that this guy has stolen, you are ordered to be arrested.
We need parliamentary
we need to have that power.
Because if we have, listen, Bal, if we have, we have all police units, we have diplomatic police, we have anti-stock, we have now coffee protection police, we need parliamentary police. Because sometimes the governors do not appear after inviting. We sometimes direct the Inspector General of Police Ganja, but he doesn't follow our orders. So we need our own so that we direct the witness, including governors and anybody, as per Article 125, to be frog
So the Senate,
the
Senate has passed that amendment.
Correct.
But now the National Assembly, I want to challenge.
Which amendment is this?
The amendment
to the powers and privileges.
That is
to provide for that.
That is section 19.
Yes.
Provide for the
enhancement of fine.
Enhancement of the fine.
Okay.
And power to order arrest.
Yes.
Order arrest.
Let me clarify. Section 19 of Powers and Privileges Act says, if the BAL, and by the way, even we can summon media or invite media, if you fail to appear, we fine you. But the moment we just fine 500,000 shillings, but people take it lightly and they laugh to us. So that's why Senator Otsosi's amendment has enhanced to 2 million Kenya shillings. So that when you don't appear, you don't cooperate with the committee, you don't provide documentation and evidence, then we can now fine you 2 million shillings from your own pocket, not from the county sources or from judicial.
But how do you verify small pockets?
So you must deposit in the bank account of the parliament. We will trace it. Is nowadays easy.
But how do you trace the source? I mean, if it is
it is easy. You can withdraw. You can withdraw 1 million without explaining.
No. How do you?
It is easy.
Okay.
Dibal, I wanted to say this. In this Republic of Kenya today, if you wanted to know what Honorable Cherargei owns, you will know.
It is easy.
If you want to know what Otsossi owns, we all are. What we own, it's known.
It's in public domain.
It's in public domain. What we are saying is that there must be a deliberate, determined effort by whoever. How I wish that President William Ruto was in that mindset. But you see, and I really want to be really polite on this one. I can run for you 23, 24, 25 scandals that are involved with his government right now. Not a single person has gone to court for prosecution. That leaves some aftertaste for some of us. In other words, this thing cannot be a show. It can't be a disruption. It must be systematic, methodical. It must go through the law. We must have the court system being utilized. We must have judges who are willing to commit onto this fight. We must have members of the DCI, ESCC officials who are given funding, treated well and remunerated well and given all the benefits. But if you are caught participating in graft, the consequences should be shocking even to you. So what we are saying, to me, as a legislator of this Republic of Kenya, what we do is talk about corruption. The very simple things that we, I mean, Dibal, how do you have SHA releasing 19 million shillings to a hospital that doesn't exist? That is what you are trying to cure with NHIF. So you've just picked the NHIF template, brought it into something called SHA, and you run through that cabal of people having fake health centers, briefcase hospitals, just siphoning off state funds, and nothing happens. When those reports come out, when you hear that the state agency where money is being stolen from, nobody has been arrested, nobody has been prosecuted. Then now, to make matters worse, you hear that people around His Excellency the President are the ones who either taking people's land, who are either abusing the law, who are the elected officials.
But where is this 19 million you're saying? Because I think that information has really not come to hand, that is being paid to a non-existent hospital. Will you maybe want to give me more information on that?
If I decided to give that, I have to open my phone. The information is there, but I'll give it to you. You know, I want to caution you. I never say anything that is never true on TV. I've never. Go and check. I talked about Adani, it came to pass. I said, look at the e-citizen. Didn't I talk about it? It came to pass. I talked about NTSA. What has been happening here? Private companies taken, no tendering, no shortlisting. They are given 59 billion is what their take is. I've talked about the Port of Mombasa. Nothing has happened about it. Every single thing we talk about, Dibal, has nothing to attack the president personally. We are telling your government is hemorrhaging. And an intelligent leader would then say, and this is where now I came in yesterday, when the president talked about that thing, I celebrated for 1 hour. I was saying, yeah, oh my God, he's finally seen it. Oh my God, but you see the difference, why members of parliament are upset. Now they are saying he's the one who used to send the money to parliament. I'm saying, no, gentlemen, don't be upset. He has said the truth. Can we fix the mess our country is in?
And this is what the president is trying to fix.
Let him fix it, but not
presidential proclamation.
Not hypothetically. Let him not fix it by punishing politicians who are against him. Let him not change and say he's going to fix corruption by either victimizing individuals who are venting a different opinion from what he expects. In other words, I am asking him the same argument he made against President Uhuru Kenyatta. What did he say? Uhuru Kenyatta is actually taking the legal system, the security apparatus, and all these institutions, and he's doing what? He is punishing and victimizing us because we have disagreed with him. Yeah. What we are saying, let the president allow the law to take its course, be methodical, make sure you explain to individuals the damage this thing has done. You yourself must not have anything that touches on your integrity. That's when Kenyans can believe you.
Yeah. So my question to you, are you in support? Though now we've had an intervention of the courts right now until December, then we'll know the determination of a multi-agency task force.
That's against
to combat corruption.
There are independent institutions that will run, that will manage.
But all of you have admittedly here that EACC is actually...
Then disband. Then let us disband.
They've been stripped of the job. Haven't you asked, say, to present all these cases to the EACC?
It has been done before. Disband the damn thing if it's not working and get Kenyans of integrity who are ready to work.
And again,
so the problem is not the institutions. I think the problem is our software as a nation. That we need to change our conscience to fight towards, yes,
to buy extent,
because even if we do it, we change it from KACC now to EACC. We still have the same problems that we were talking about. Oh, they have teething problems. Oh, they need to be given prosecutorial powers so that they can prosecute. Even if they be given prosecutorial powers still, you'll say they're not doing enough. They're not going for the big
But they have already prosecutorial powers.
Yes, but you see,
Article 79 of the Constitution is very clear that EACC is the mandate that has...
After the amendment.
The problem
After the amendment. This is what they were fighting for.
No, let me clarify.
Yes,
One,
please.
Under the Constitution, it is the EACC that is mandated to fight corruption and economic crimes. You remember when in 2003, you know, Nyonga has been around for some time. Yes. They passed for over 20 years. He should have been even the leader of minority of ODM in the Senate because he has vast experience in politics. In 2003, when Kibaki took over, there was the Economic Crimes Act that was passed.
Yes.
We have Leadership and Integrity Act. We have the EACC Act that establishes. Under Article 79 of the Constitution, the EACC is mandated. So what we are challenging the EACC is that they have the power. They have the constitutional power. We give them resources as Parliament. Under Article, Article 249(3). The Parliament appropriates to independent offices, including TSC, including DPP, including EACC. So what we are saying is that they have a power, the law and the budget to fight corruption. So they should do it. So I agree with you unless there is wrong software. But when you look at legislation and financial ability to deliver, and even I know very serious and very senior good officers within EACC who, I don't know, there is some interest that has captured the EACC.
But if you, from your own estimation, they're not doing...
of course, when they appeared before me when I was the chair, like in the last session, and it is on record on Senate, the only conviction they brought me as the chair, like, was a conviction of 20,000 bribery. Yet we are aware, even the former president at some point said that as a country we are losing 2 billion to corruption. So the question is, unless the people in EACC are the wrong people to run EACC, and I agree with you, I'm challenging my colleagues in Parliament. Since EACC, the current EACC has got, we should disband.
Yes.
And bring in competent Kenyans. We have enough Kenyans who can run some of these institutions.
Thank you.
And prosecute, and so that we fight corruption in a strategized manner and as per the Constitution. And that is why the reason EACC, as a committee of PAC, where and used to serve with us, is we always recommend to EACC, because we are aware EACC is the sole body that is supposed to fight corruption.
But don't you think the president is on to a good thing?
By the way, I
the
found Justice, before
when
my
the
brother
multitask-
comes in, I found Justice Mwamuye disinformed on this matter that he has ruled on MAT. Because as the chair of JLAC in the last session, we used to sit with multi-agency team that was being chaired by AG. But that team was just based on advisory. It was not supposed to investigate or prosecute. So I think the president was right, because even President Uhuru Kenyatta formed that MAT was there, chaired by Kihara Kariuki when I was the chair of JLAC, and we used to meet both the JLAC in the National Assembly, chaired by the late Senator Cheptumo, and I used to chair JLAC in the National Assembly. And MAT had the KRA into surveillance intelligence. What was it? It was based on advisory, but based on the legislative and policy. Because you needed, there might be gaps in the fight against corruption. You will need Parliament to put in place maybe a policy or legislation. So I think the ruling by Justice Mwamuye was done, whether the court was not properly informed on the intention of matter.
Was it a ruling, or maybe it is just, the determination will be made later, December the 9th?
But even on the face value, the fact that he has stopped the functionality of that team, the judge should have been sufficiently informed the role, because I saw the pleadings and the affidavits before in that matter that was being adjudicated in court. One of the arguments was that these EACCs are mandated to fight corruption, which is correct. They argued that DPP should not be directed by anybody, which is correct. Under Article 169 or the Constitution 2010, the DPP should not be directed. I agree with those pleadings and what they pleaded in court. But they didn't get the proclamation by the president, because one was more of advisory. It was not directed DPP or EACC or anybody to be directed. I think it was just an advisory committee to advise both Parliament, for example, what to do, especially on gaps that are there, maybe legislative or policy gaps, to the cabinet and many other things. So I think that court order, or that was given today, the ruling by justice, was insufficiently given out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Let me just comment on that.
Please,
as well.
please.
I think the multi-sectorial approach is the way to go, because you have seen in the past, we have seen these tough wars between EACC and DPP on one hand, and then we have also seen DCI fighting with the DPP and fighting with the NIS. So we can give it a try. I am not going to contest that bit, only that it has to be done within the
law.
Within the law, the framework of the law. But I want to say that even with that, there are some other things that the public wants to see done differently, so that they are convinced that the president is serious about the fight against corruption. And I think effective from this week, I will be very surprised to see members of parliament and deputy president and speakers of the two houses running around the country doing empowerment drives. Carrying bundles of money.
In bags.
The question is, where does that money come from?
I included.
Because parliament has not appropriated that money. Where does it come from?
Which bag?
I'm glad that I have not attended any of that, those empowerment drive.
I'm a regular attendee.
Including the recent one in my village, Luanda.
Isn't it part of?
Which I didn't attend.
Isn't it part of the budgeted corruption?
But we did a good job for your people in Luanda.
Yes, I wasn't in Luanda.
But we did a good job for his people in Luanda through the empowerment.
I cannot reconcile myself being in that kind of a meeting where we are bringing money that we don't know the source. Where is it from? And secondly, we need to do away with what we call confidential vote in our ministries. Because that money is the money that is used for corruption.
Yes.
That you are given money in a budget called confidential vote that no one knows what is being used for. That has to stop, so that every money that is put in the budget, we must know how that money is going to be used, and that money must be oversighted by Parliament. That way we will know that we are making headway in terms of corruption. Every single penny that we spend must be budgeted for and must be directed to the specific expenditure. If that is not done, then Kenyans will not believe us when we say we are fighting corruption.
So isn't the money doesn't it come from the confidential
the
account?
objects of matters by the presidential, the objectives of the multi-agencies shall, among others, enhancing cooperation, coordination, and collaboration among agencies, number one. Number two, engaging other relevant agencies, organs of government, and private sector to enhance the effectiveness of anti-graft campaign. Identify the resource needs for each agency and collaboration organs and seek support for the same. Number four, sharing best practices and approaches for tackling corruption in Kenya. Number five, developing an effective communication strategies for awareness, creation on the gains and achievements made against corruption. And finally, engaging both domestic and international relevant agencies for effectiveness and optimum realization fight against economic crimes, organized crimes, and recovery proceeds of crime. You know there are people who steal, and are you aware there are people who have stolen in this country and they have their money in Dubai? Are you aware the offshore account, the Cayman Islands? Are you aware the famous, what was it called? The files.
Panama. Panama files, yes.
Are you aware there are offshore accounts in Switzerland, people they steal? So how do you recover such things? And that is why if you read the objectives of this multi-agency, it is more of advisory as opposed as to investigate and prosecute. Which to us, I find that is a better way. If it will assist us to recover money that some of our friends have stolen and put it in Dubai, put it in offshore accounts, then it is better for the country.
And again, Dibal, even as we fight corruption, we must also be very sensible in what we are doing.
Yes.
I am one of the people who was opposed to some provisions in the conflict of interest bill. Because some of the things that bill is proposing are not practical.
Yes, they are not practical.
Are not practical. For example, when you say that my daughter or my uncle
Spouse,
or my mother-in-law cannot do business.
Or be a partner.
Because,
that was the
because I am a member of parliament.
Correct.
That is very wrong.
Correct.
Or you tell me I cannot do business because I'm a member of parliament. Let me tell you, for example, myself. Politics does not put food on my table for my family. It doesn't. Instead, it takes away my money. I put food on the table because I'm an IT expert. When I make money from my IT farm, that is what puts food on my table, not politics. So when you tell me that I cannot exercise my profession and get capital out of it because I'm a member of parliament, that is foreign to this country.
And even your salary, you have taken mortgage and loans.
No, because
some of us, when you look at our pay slip, listen.
But you are
when you look at our pay slip,
you cannot come and
10,000
for that particular argument because it's your choice to take this particular mortgage.
But we are just saying we are being realistic as Kenyans.
We need to be very realistic.
You know the definition of conflict of interest. One of the definitions was that a relative, even so you know Africans, we have 1 million relatives. You have distances. So this conflict of interest act says, if you are my relative, whether through marriage or any other form or through blood, you are not supposed to do business. Does it mean when I'm a member of parliament, the lives of relatives or anybody related to me, their lives end?
Even your friend.
Even my friend.
Cannot do business.
Even the children. That is what the law...
We are supposed to be winding up.
And that is why I'm saying we need to be realistic and sensible in the fight against corruption. All of us agree that corruption is a cancer that we must fix. But we must be strategic, we must be pragmatic, we must be realistic, we must be sensible, so that we can fight corruption once and for all. And that is why in future, and I'm worried, in future, most of our colleagues in politics, when you want to run your relatives, will say, no, you will bring us problems.
All right. I want to say a minute.
Yes.
Even when Cherargei has really made a wonderful presentation about how we should be allowed to do business, who has abused the system? We are the ones who become governors. We get our wives and brothers and sisters to do the tendering. We should change the system. We have members of parliament giving their relatives, friends, mothers and cousins jobs within the CDF system. The women rep are doing the same thing with NGCK. That law required for us to sanitize our behavior, and we refused. That's all I wanted to say.
So,
but the point, Senator Onyonga did not get me. What I'm saying is that under there is nepotism, under Economic Crimes Act, And even the ESSC Act and leadership, that one has been provided for. I'm not saying when you are in a position of influence, you give inducement to the people. But this conflict of interest was saying, so long as they are related to you, they are not supposed, for example, if you are a governor of Nairobi, if your distant cousin applies for a job or even in Vihiga, the conflict of interest say they should not apply for a job because they are related to you. What I'm saying is far from what Senator Onyonga is saying. I don't agree where you use your position to inducement.
Yeah.
It is true, but the point I'm making is
You remember
why
when
I'm already the governor.
Yes.
My brother.
I agree with you on nepotism.
Why would I want my cousin to get a job in the county government, especially if he's not qualified and he's not been shortlisted
That is now,
as number one?
Senator Onyonga, I agree with you. But I'm saying the fact that you are related, you need to read that conflict of interest. I will send you the act. The act.
Yeah,
you know our definition, and you remember we had a problem with the definition.
Yes.
Because we are not saying the inducement and nepotism should not be allowed.
Oh, okay.
But we are saying if they qualify competent and ability.
Yes.
And you remember even Governor Isaac, when he was facing problems in 2013, 2017, and people were accusing him and telling, oh, your brothers are
Isaac
working.
Ruto.
Yes, Isaac Ruto and many others. And the point he argued, and I find valid, that even if my brother comes from my country, he has his own life. He can do his own business so long as he's not being induced by a relative in power. I don't agree with nepotism. I don't agree with inducement that you give because he's your relative. But let the relatives and your friends live their life.
So what happens to former governor like Ferdinand Waititu? We know now that he's actually out of...
on bail.
His own bail.
Yes.
And the recovery of his assets?
But I think the assets recovery unit that is their work, because if the ESCC has moved to court, you know what they do is they do freezing of your assets, and then they move for recovery proceedings. If the courts give them the degree to recover those assets, they are recovered. And I remember today we were in Labour Committee, the Retirement Benefits Authority under Kemri. There are people who stole money in Kemri more than 536 million.
For
the ESCC went to court.
Pension money.
Pension money. So the ESCC went to court. They did out-of-court settlement with some of the people who are accused of stealing. They have recovered around 200 million by selling property and plots. So the process is very simple. The ESCC moves to court. They freeze that property, including cars and vehicles and assets. Then they move for recovery proceedings. If the courts allow them to recover, then they now recover, sell, and that money is being sent to National Treasury. And maybe the concerned entity, that money should be taken back to it. So what happens in Ferdinand Waititu case,
yes.
the ESCC can abuse the abuse of office charges. Then they can also, if the property that he has is linked to unexplained property. You know, under the law, there is what we call unexplained wealth. And by the way, if you have to open that you will find a lot of people in this country who they have wealth that they cannot explain. You see somebody driving a car, 45 million. You see people buying flats in this city. Like governors, what I was saying. When you ask them, your salary is less than 1 million. In 2-3 years, you have a property worth 300 million. How did you get it? That is what even the law has provided what we call unexplained wealth. So in such cases where you have unexplained wealth, the ESCC have power to freeze that assets, go for recovery proceedings, and sell that property and bring money to the exchequer.
No, just a quick one before we wind up.
Yes, please.
The president, of course, with this multi-agency task force that was mooted by him, and now it's been quashed by the courts. Why is the executive none the wiser? Because they've been here before. When we hack back to 2024, we had the public task force on debts, right? That was made to interrogate, what is our debt position in this particular case as a country, which is always a shooting target. Even the Auditor General, she's decried the fact that we do not know what this public debt is all about. And then we had it also quashed by the courts. Why is the president is he becoming none the wiser as far as forming this task force and seeking opinion maybe from the Auditor General, not from the Attorney General, to get advice on it moving forward?
I think, and let me be the first one as we do the closing remarks so that Senator Onyonga can conclude. I'm not closing the show. I'm just imagining because you have said you are fighting.
Yes. We're getting
under the Constitution, the National Treasury is obligated to brief Parliament on the status of public debt. But in fact, I don't want to worry about the executive. Because as a parliament, we have the power. We have the Public Debt Committee in the National Assembly. Nothing precludes them by this constitution.
Yes, but
not to investigate. No, I'm challenging. I'm coming that
they're
direction.
doing a poor job, a second job at that.
That is why I'm saying this constitution has given so much immense powers to members of parliament. The Public Debt Committee in National Assembly should tell the country how much is being owed. Number two, we should even form commission of inquiry on state capture. Because part of the public debt, both internal and external, is because of state capture. Talk about Eldoret, not Eldoret, I come from that. The Nairobi Expressway, under Moja, do you know we don't know how much is being paid daily? Are you aware? In this Nairobi Expressway? Because of state capture. As a parliament, we should form a commission of inquiry of the state capture, even the SGR, Nairobi Expressway. This issue that they are doing privatization of state corporations. Most of these state corporations that are being privatized.
They are
it is because of state capture.
They are buying
the Guptas. The Guptas are here with us. The Guptas of South Africa. So we must investigate the state capture, even in the sugar barons.
Yeah.
We now have sugar barons. Leave alone the sugar mummies and sugar daddies. We now have sugar barons.
Just wait.
That will be, but
the other day you saw we have excessive amounts of rice, and then out of nowhere, people are importing rice worth 56 billion shillings. That can only happen when the state is captured.
And I'm happy the Kerugoya High Court has directed the Ministry of Agriculture to provide justification of importation. The Kerugoya High Court to protect the Mwea farmers, the Awasi, and the Nyatike farmers.
Are going to take their rice.
Because I'm worried as a maize farmer, if this one of rice flies over, our maize is almost being ready.
Yeah, I saw the governor of Kirinyaga decrying the fact of this.
Yes, and that is why I want to thank the Kirinyaga High Court, because they have told the Ministry of Agriculture, give us the justification and need assessment for importation of rice. That is why there is a state capture. The Guptas of South Africa. That is why I'm challenging Parliament, my colleagues in Parliament. We have so immense powers. We can do judicial inquiry in some of these issues. In conclusion, this country is bigger than all of us. We owe it to the posterity and the future generations. As a parliament, anything that we do, we thank the Kenyans for giving us this wonderful constitution. By the way, are you aware, everything that goes to executive or judiciary is being decided by parliament? Budget, the law, we are lawmakers, oversight, everything. We have so much powers that I was shocked that my colleagues were disappointed. Yet this constitution has given us so much powers to do anything and everything under the sun. That is why I'm challenging my colleagues that let us stop lamenting, let us stop mourning, let us use the constitution to fix this country for the betterment of our generation.
Thank you.
And posterity. And some of us, by the way, are you aware, some of us, God willing, we are still around for even 50, 60 years to come. Thank you, and it's an honor to always be here.
Thank you.
Inshallah.
Honorable Sotsi, also the governor was seeking, I think, 103 billion debt to be offset by the Treasury. Hearing all these loopholes that we do have, do you think this is justified, that they should actually be seeking Treasury to bail them out? 103 billion shillings? To cover for their debt, the debt of the counties. That is coming from the governor.
Well, I think I've been part of that conversation because part of that debt is 80 billion shillings that counties or staff in form of pension. No. And that goes all the way from the period before devolution.
Oh, really?
Yes, the period
before. That is CPF, LAP Fund, and LAP Trust.
That is CPF and LAP Fund. And that money, my committee has recommended that money should be paid to those pensioners because they're suffering. And I want to appreciate the effort that
this was not addressed by the transitional authority?
It was part of the 130 billion you are referring to.
Okay.
So I think if that is done, and we have recommended that various strategies can be used to pay that money. One includes giving a bond to the county so that they can pay that money and they are deducted over a period of time.
Okay.
But that aside, let me now make my final comments by saying that I think this document is very important. We all took an oath to protect the Constitution. If all of us, starting from the President to the MCAs, were able to abide by the specific roles that this Constitution has given us, I think this country will be great. Senate exists to oversight counties. We are doing that. We are not about to stop that. So our friends, governors, please just prepare yourself to be oversighted by Senate and County Assembly, and don't run away. Don't look for salvation elsewhere. Come, if you have done the right thing, we will appreciate that you have done the right thing. If you have issues to answer, the Constitution empowers Senate to ask you to respond to those issues. Please don't shy away and look for salvation elsewhere. You have looked for salvation in the courts. The courts have pronounced themselves. The two leaders whom we respect will not give you the salvation unless the Constitution is amended to say that Senate has no role. But so long as we have this Constitution, we will continue inviting you. And if you don't come, we will now move to the next step to summon you to come. And if you don't come, we'll move to the next step to recommend your arrest. Yes. And that's the position.
Thank you.
So that way we will be moving forward as a country.
All
and
right.
Secondly, to finalize, I want to ask our speakers of the two houses, the National Assembly and the Senate, to protect the seat of Speaker, so that we want to see impartiality, neutrality, and professionalism in the way the seat of Speaker is being managed in this country. Because the ridicule that we are receiving now as Parliament is because our speakers have not performed to the required international standards and norms. We want to see them exercising their power. And that's why I called upon my own speaker, Amason Kingi. If really he stands by the bold statement he made today, he should invoke Article 125 of the Constitution and invite
Failure to which?
His Excellency the President.
Failure to which?
We have the powers to impeach them.
Fantastic. I
Yes.
wanted just to hear that. Finally, let's hear from Senator Richard Onyonka.
Well, I'll be very brief.
Impeach the speaker. I hope you allowed him to finish.
No, yeah, impeach the speaker.
The speaker for not doing their duty.
Yeah, for not doing the it's simple.
If he doesn't invoke the Article 127, isn't it?
125.
125.
Yes, it is simple to do that. Yes. And all we need is just one afternoon to collect the signatures
and move a
it's gone.
motion.
So I hope the speakers are listening to me. And I also want to call upon our members of Parliament, please stop attending those empowerment drives, which is another way. We are talking about implementing the 10-point agenda.
Thank you.
Under the 10-point agenda, there is a point on leadership and integrity. Inside there, they talk about stoppage of opulence. We cannot be saying that we are supporting the implementation of 10-point agenda and then we go ahead and demonstrate opulence before the eyes of the public. That is wrong.
Thank you.
We are defiling the 10-point agenda.
Thank you.
Of the
all right.
report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Onyonka.
My comments are really very simple. Number one, this past week, I've been one of the happiest people in the world because I have been, and a few of us, been discussing how our country is broken down. And everybody thought, we are crazy, we are mad, we don't know what we are talking about because we are removed from their reality. I have been around Parliament for quite a while. I've seen the young leadership that has come up, how they behave. I watch even how they dress. I see the cars they drive. And I pity them because they don't understand that the loss because of this opulence and excessiveness and this drama life and all this stuff they're doing, there is somebody dying because they don't have malaria medicines. That you have our children, instead of going to university, instead of committees of education sitting and saying, what are we going to do to fix the problem? They want the executive to tell them. They have never understood their job. In fact, this is the first time members of Parliament have realized that actually they have no job. With the declaration President Ruto made, they have no job. So they better wake up because God has been very fair to them for the next 2.5 years, to gain the integrity, the respect, the credibility of the Kenyan public. Our people are watching what we do. They understand where we are. They know how we have misused them. They know how we have abused them. I see all this thing you're talking about, the empowerment nonsense that is going on around. You cannot take state resources and start using them to campaign for your office. First of all, you are telling these young men that you are going to give them motorbikes. When those very boys you are buying motorbikes are university students who are missing school fees to go to university. It means you don't understand where people are. It means you are not reading it correctly. And what I am saying, and I'm pleading with my colleagues, and I've done this for the last, I think, 3-4 years, Dibal, let members of parliament realize that our employers are not happy with us. We have let them down. Why? Because we decided we are going to sleep with the executive. Why? Because they give you the tenders in government. Our colleagues are given roads. You'll find an MP. I mean, these things have been discussed. How an MP is given 1.6 billion to go and do Maram roads in one constituency. Is that normal? It's not. These are things people don't talk about, but these are the things that are there. They are there in the budget. Today I received a phone call. Somebody is telling me, you know what, this money for empowerment, there is no budget. These guys are just collecting money from treasury. So you can't fight corruption when you are actually doing what? When you are sprucing the corruption nicely. You are actually creating the narrative. Oh, we are trying to create interventions.
Thank you.
The interventions you need to be creating must be self-sustaining, must be logical and reasonable. They must be thought about clearly with obvious expectation, with obvious results. Right now, the country is running on autopilot. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think the last part is there where we differ. The country has a president.
We need to wind up. Where we differ,
Yes,
it will mean every one of you to ask. But I want to thank you so much. Thank you. We really do appreciate Senator Samson Cherargei, the Senator of Nandi. Thank you for coming through. I really do appreciate Senator of Vihiga, Senator Godfrey Osotsi. I really do appreciate, and also Senator Richard Onyonka. What a trenchant, cogent, incisive, luminary minds that we've had today. I think a rich stream of information coming from you, I really do appreciate. I wanted to know also, there was something that was raised regarding governors and senators. So if you're a governor and then now you finish your term, then you come and run. Yes. I think there was a legislation that was meant to be. You will inform us next time because of time.
And by the way, we did defeat governors in the Devolution Conference football. I was playing. We beat them 5-0.
What role? You're not
Number 7.
Number 7?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for your valued company. You've been watching The Insight here on TV 47. Have a restorative night.